thank you for dropping me a rope, Mango, so that I can claw this conversation back to something relevant. Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation 5, which was kind of a rumor for a long time, not specifically to Horizon 5, but just with a lot of Xbox games. Halo and I think like Gears of War maybe or something. I don't know. Halo was kind of the other big one. But yeah, and it's actually really happening, which I was very blindsided that morning. I was so glad because I did kind of have the day off in terms of like I didn't really have to do anything else. And I just happened to like open Reddit or something like 5 minutes after the news went live. It was just like, like, wait, what? Really? Like, I can say confidently, I had absolutely zero heads up that that was happening. As far as I know, everybody did. Because I'm pretty sure that was something they very, very strictly did not want to be leaked. Yeah, Ami, that's exactly accurate. I was sitting with my kid, like we were just like, I don't know. She was just like right here, maybe in my lap, and I like opened Reddit. It was just like, like, whoa, no. And like me and a couple other Forza creators were all like freaking out about it and stuff. But it has been really, really interesting, largely not in a good way, but partially, to see the community's reaction to it. And when I say community, I don't mean the Horizon community specifically. I mean like everybody. People are still so weird about like console fanboyism. It's weird, man. I don't get it. Like I just don't. And maybe, you know, maybe it's because I kind of like left that world. I wouldn't call myself a console gamer anymore. I have consoles, I use consoles, but I definitely am more of like a PC mindset kind of guy. And 90% of my time is spent playing games on PC. Oh, Nitchor. Does that work? Nitchor? Yeah, I can lock that in. If Nitchor sounds okay, then let's go with that. But you could, if you need to correct me on that, then please do. Yeah, with all the game cancelizations, PS5 players will finally have quality games. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, man. Like, I will say, there has been a very large positive reaction to it. I think a lot of PlayStation people are stoked. I think a lot of, like, casual Horizon people are like, oh, sick, yeah, like, more people can play the game. There has been a lot of positivity around it. Like, to be clear, there has been a lot, I've seen a lot of positive community sentiment of like, hey, like PS5 guys, like welcome to the family. And that is by and large my take as well. But then there are also so many people that are like just blood boiling livid about it. Which is, I just don't get it. Like there are people in my video that are like, I'm unsubscribing to you. This is awful. It's like, how? Like, I just don't understand the gatekeeping. Who cares? Like the only, and I know it's wrong to attach logic to this, but the only logic I can attach to it, and because I need to attach logic to it, is that people are upset for what this means from a business perspective on Xbox's part. And they're concerned that this is a bad sign for Xbox. Which I'm going to be completely honest, I don't agree with whatsoever. Like, I just don't. I also don't think it matters, because none of us work for Microsoft, and none of us know what they're doing, and they have lots and lots of people whose job is to make money and keep the company afloat there. And I'm not saying that means they always make the right decision. But what I am saying is there's no need to just speculate randomly about like, oh, yep, Xbox is going under. They're dead. Xbox is dead. This confirms it. Xbox is dead. This sucks. This is the worst. And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch. maybe because I'm not like a big Xbox guy. Maybe I don't get it. But yeah, Xbox is changing. They've lost the console war, so Game Pass and Xbox's new plan is everything is an Xbox. Yeah, I mean, they've certainly been doing like different strategies, but I also don't understand the whole like lost the console war thing. Because, I mean, people say like, oh, the Xbox, you know, they make no money because they sold 5 Xboxes. You guys realize they sold like tens of millions of Xboxes, right? Did you guys forget that? I feel like this is such like a young mentality because back in the day, we used to have a ton of consoles. Everyone had a console. Like, there's so many consoles out there from different companies. And this still exists today, technically. There's lots of, like, emulator consoles. Xbox still sold tens of millions of Xboxes. They don't need to, like... They don't, you know, just because they didn't sell like 150 million and they only sold 50 million. I don't know what the actual numbers are. But like, I don't know. What does that matter? I don't know. I just don't get it. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, attack Mango. I'm not like attacking your Mango. But I'm just saying like, so many people are like, well, Xbox is dead, blah, 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 blah. You know, because they only sold however many million units, which I just don't understand. I just, everyone's like, oh, this is such a move of desperation for them. Like, I don't think it is. It's just a different marketing strategy. Like, hey, Callum with the 40. Hi, hello to you. Good to see you. Error code, by the way, probably not Motortown today, but we'll see. We don't actually know yet. We'll get there. There you go, Mango. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's fine to have a conversation about what their marketing strategy is, because it is definitely not the norm over the last like 10 years to put like flagship exclusives on other systems. But I also just don't think there's any reason to be mad about it. I think there's a conversation to be had, and you can speculate about what the future will look like for them. But I also just don't think there's any point. You know, there's so many people that in my comments and stuff and on the internet are like, well, there's no reason to own an Xbox now. Oh, well, my Xbox is useless now. And it's like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? Like, I don't... what? Like, what? You still have a game console that plays video games. I understand that the value proposition of owning a PS5 just got higher, and then there is less reason. You know, if I weren't a content creator, yeah, I wouldn't own an Xbox because I have a PC. But that's on purpose by Xbox and Microsoft. Like, they decided that. So why does it matter? Like, it's not like I'm being sneaky. It's not like, ooh, they don't know that this is going to make me not buy an Xbox because I have a PC and a PS5. Like, that's on purpose. The Xbox chose that. Like, someone in my comments was like, oh man, Xbox must be like shivering in their boots right now. And I don't remember what it was. They were like thinking that like Xbox was terrified about Horizon 5 going to PS5. And I'm like, no. They made that decision. That was their choice to put, like, they did that. They're not terrified about it. They made that choice. So it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's just a weird mentality. The whole console war thing, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. And for the record, a Series S and Game Pass is still by far like the cheapest way to get into modern gaming. A PS5, what, is $400? The discless? PS5 is $400. You still have to pay for online, and then you still have to buy games. You can get a Series S for, I think, $300 new. Sometimes they go on sale. But we'll just say $300. And then Game Pass is, what, $15 a month? And then you get, like, every game. And so even if Xbox, let's say the next generation even happens. Let's say there is a PS6. And let's say Xbox can still come out with a console that's just an option. They don't need to, I just don't think the mentality of needing to, like, directly compete, I don't know. Like, it doesn't need to be a war. It can just be different options and more options for consumers. People selling used Series S for like $170. Yeah. You can get if you buying a used Series S and then subscribing to Game Pass is like an ungodly good deal. If you just want to play games, you like cannot win, or you cannot lose with just a Series S and Game Pass. Now, obviously, as you grow and depending on what games you want to play, it starts to make more sense to, like, yeah, maybe you should build like a budget gaming PC, and then you like get all that stuff plus PC games, and there's a lot of free stuff on PC. But again, I just still think it's worth pointing out that, like, they sold millions of these, millions and millions of consoles. It's gonna be okay. But anyway, get off my high horse, rant over. Yeah, Horizon 5 on PS5, I think is sick, man. For me, again, my mentality is, yeah, the more people that can play it, the better. And I think what's really good about it, and I might have said this somewhere else on the internet, but I think the biggest criticism that most people have about Horizon 5 is that it's just the same game as Horizon 4 and Horizon 3. And you can make, or it's worse because, the map is arguably worse. But I think the big mentality of boo Horizon 5 bad is just because they haven't really innovated that much. But for PlayStation players, they haven't had the last 4 games. They haven't played Horizon 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for them, this is like the perfect situation of they're getting Horizon 5, which is like the most modern, up-to-date experience, and realistically, it's kind of the OG festival racer. And in many ways, it's the best. Like, I think really the only criticism, the only major criticism I think you can say for Horizon 5 being worse than Horizon 4 or 3 is the map, which I would more or less agree with. I didn't love Horizon 4's map, to be honest. But the map is, plain. But besides that, like, there's a couple little minor things. Like, obviously, we've talked about, yeah, they dropped some features from Horizon 4. There are good things about those games. I made a whole series about it. But I think broad strokes, if you're jumping into Horizon 5, like, just off the bat with no previous experience of any of the previous games, that's so sick. Like, you are getting so much content, and you're getting such a good game because you're building on the experience of all the old games. And it's so sick. So I'm so excited. Yo, JP with the big 3-9, long timer, dude. Thank you. What is that? What is that emote? Oh, it's like a half. Okay, I see. a little heart is a little half heart. There you go. But yeah, and it's been so fun seeing, like, Ami, your first game was Horizon 5. And I just think that's it's such a beautiful thing, seeing the innocence of new fans. But really, I think it's going to be a big wave of positivity for the community as a whole, because I think the community as a whole is fairly jaded on Horizon. Because yes, realistically, ever since Horizon 3, it's kind of been side grades. Horizon 1 was a great game. Horizon 2 like built on that. Horizon 3 built on that. And then Horizon 4 was like a different version. And then Horizon 5 was like a different version. So we haven't really like built on that. Like, you know, we lost some things, we gained some things. But I think we're going to get like this massive new injection of players that just don't have the experience of the last games. And I think that's going to be such a beautiful thing. Seeing all these people like experience Horizon for the very first time. And I'm so curious how big it's going to be. Like, it bums me out that, you know, we can't look at like the Steam DB for it. Because I really do wonder like what that market is. Is that a big market? Like, I probably can't ask any of you guys, because probably every single one of you has played Horizon 5. Okay, well, hold on. Is there anybody in chat who's never played a Horizon game, but like owns a PlayStation and is thinking about it now? My guess is no, just based on my community. But if one of you exists, let me know if you're like interested in picking it up. Oh, JP, you're currently talking to one on Discord? Well, there you go. Or more Covey, and you came in, I think, from Motortown. So yeah, for you, I'm guessing, you know, you got a PC, you got a PS5. That's the way to do it. Did you like hear the news that Horizon 5 is coming to PS5 and you're like, oh, sick, I'm going to pick that up? Or like, what was your thought on that? Or do you not care? Or did you not even know that was happening? My brother has a PS5. He's only played Horizon on my PC when he came home. He's planning on buying. Yeah. Like, I'm just so... I would think it's a pretty big market. Because PS5 did sell very well. I don't know exactly. I think there are like over 150 million units sold of PS5s. Which means, theoretically, you know, 150 million people that have potentially, well, I mean, I guess not. You know, that's millions of people that have never played a Horizon game. Skira never played 5, played through 1, bounced off of 2, and that was about it. Wow. Yeah, the games are fairly different from 2. Big difference from 1. 2 still feels like Modern Horizon in a way. If it's the same feeling for me as a PC Xbox person, I would love to have Gran Turismo to play. Yeah. For sure. And this has been the other kind of funny thing, is so many people think that it's like a hostage negotiation with Horizon 5 on PS5. Oh, PS2 sold about 150 mil. No way PS5 sold as much. Okay, maybe that's the number that's in my head. I don't know this stuff off the top of my head, but maybe that's what I'm thinking. PS5 units sold. Let's get a real. There you go. As of November 2024, Sony has sold 65.5 PS5 consoles worldwide. There you go. Thank you for that. Now, out of curiosity, Xbox Series units sold 28.3, so about half. So yeah, and I know in comparison that seems bad. They still sold 30 million. Like, that's so many. I just want to be clear about that. But anyway, yeah, thank you for that, because it's good to actually have a perspective of what the real numbers are. But anyway, yeah, it's been so funny to me seeing like all these people thinking that it's a hostage negotiation of like, all right, well, PS5 is gonna get Horizon 5, but then what does Xbox get? What does Xbox get in return? This isn't like some shady back alley trade. You don't have like a man in a trench coat with a Sony emblem and a man in a trench coat with an Xbox emblem meeting up like, hey, all right, I'll give you Horizon 5, but what do I get in return? Well, you know, how are you going to scratch my back? Like, That's not how any of this works. And so I do think, again, it brings up the conversation of, yeah, it'd be great to have GT7 on PC. But so many people in my comments have been like, well, what does Xbox get? Well, what does Xbox get? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, this isn't a trade. That's not what's happening. It's just, I don't get it. But yeah. Xbox is not nearly as big outside of North America. Oh yeah. I think that's kind of always been true. Xbox has always, I mean, Microsoft, like, it's a US company. PlayStation, Nintendo, much bigger in Japan. And I think, I don't know, maybe Europe's a little bit more split, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Hoki branded trench coats would sell. All right, I'll get that in the merch line. But yeah. Yeah, right, Skira. PlayStation gets Horizon 5, Microsoft gets money. That's the deal. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't get that. I think a lot of people legitimately do think, well, I know that this has happened because, again, people commented. People think that, like, Sony went and asked for it and were like, hey, give us Horizon 5 on our console or else. And we're not going to give you nothing. Like, again, people just have such a weird warped mentality when it comes to, like, the console wars. Like, they're just companies trying to make money, you guys. That's it. That is why 360 seemed to win, because it dominated in America but sold poorly elsewhere. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, like, for me, thinking of, like, a person in Japan having an Xbox is kind of weird. That's just, like, a weird thought to me. I'd be so curious to know how many units Xbox has sold in Japan. Because that just, I'm sure, like, yeah, if you're a big gamer, yeah, maybe. But, yeah, I don't know. Sony, there you go. Sony had market share in the 90% in some Asian markets. Yeah, that I fully believe that. Yeah, I've always bounced, and maybe this is like part of why I never, I don't know, joined the console war as a soldier. But my console history for like TV consoles, not portables, went Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, PS2, Xbox 360, PC. So I did the full rounds. I did everything. And then from there, it was just owning multiples. I had a lot of Nintendo handhelds. I had the PSP. I had the Vita. And then, yeah, these days I basically just own a PS5. The only reason I own a PS5 is for Gran Turismo. The only reason I own an Xbox is for Forza. That's literally it. I would not own those consoles if it weren't for that. I would still own a Switch. I do like my Switch. Greece was mainly PlayStation. Never ever seen an OG Xbox here. Yeah. Yeah, I never owned an OG Xbox. My cousin had one. But that was, when I had, like, my PS2. PS2 was, like, the best console of all time. 360 had a lot of weird, smaller Japanese games on it, so there's a cult following for it in Japan. Really? Okay. That's kind of cool. I dig it. Anyway, wow, we got distracted. We never even really, I guess we did kind of talk everything we need to talk about with PS5. Now, does anybody have any thoughts on Horizon 5 on PS5? I don't know. Overall, I'm stoked about it. I think it's going to be... I'm curious what's going to happen with my YouTube channel. Hold on, let me get the music going here while we're entering chat zone again. I'm curious if it's going to have like a bump for content creators or not, Like, is this going to be a situation where, like, all of a sudden my old YouTube guides are, like, going to start to get a bunch of views, or is just no one going to care anyway? Or are we going to see a bunch of new creators pop out of this? Like Horizon 5, we saw a bunch of new people. I'm kind of new as of Horizon 4-ish. So I'm wondering if like maybe PlayStation content creators are gonna get Horizon and be like, ooh, maybe I should make some videos on this. So yeah, I don't know. I have a thought, makes no difference to me. I mean, yeah, but again, I think a bigger player base is like only a good thing. Obviously it does, and I talked about this in the video, or in the YouTube comments of my video. I'm a little bit worried from a bugs standpoint, because Horizon is not the most stable game. It's not the most stable game. That's on Xbox and PC. So I'm a little worried that when they add PlayStation crossplay into the mix, it's gonna like break convoys again. So fingers crossed it doesn't. Hopefully they've got that locked in, but I'm a little nervous that it's gonna cause some issues with the online. Rainbow, by the way, 85 streams. Yeah, PotatoBot, your comment was a very common one that I saw. PotatoBot says, isn't it a bit late, seeing how Horizons usually get taken off the store a few years after the next ones come out? I don't think that's the case. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, isn't it late, like the game's dying anyway? But I think this is like the perfect time to get the game, because it's like feature complete, more or less. Oh, and we didn't even talk about Realms. Oh, we do have more to talk about. I think this is like it doesn't matter that it's an old game. It doesn't matter that it's a slowing down game, because it's not to PlayStation. It may as well be a brand new game to PlayStation people. So it's like, you know, to them it's brand new. And yeah, I am very curious what this does mean for Horizon 6, because I don't think they would do this for Horizon 5 and then just go back to only Xbox for Horizon 6. I do think this means Horizon 6 will come to PlayStation. It maybe not right away. Maybe they'll do a staggered release. But I think this definitely bodes well for Horizon 6 on PlayStation, because I don't think they would do this if they weren't at least thinking about it. Yeah, Silva. No, I fully agree. I do think the servers may struggle. I think online may be a little bit rough, just because it is notorious for being that way. But yeah, at least they won't have to experience launch month servers. Yeah, hopefully not. We'll see. Yeah, so Realms. Realms is the thing they kind of teased, which, and I said this in the video, the way I read it is, yeah, it's going to be like a cycling feature where PlayStation players can go get and experience stuff from like years ago. I don't think it's going to have much of any interest for existing players like us, you know, us long-timers. But maybe, I mean, they teased like some surprises. So I think one of the things I speculated on in the video is maybe they will like combine multiple things. Like, what I think would be cool is if they did like a mega Christmas event and like a mega 10th anniversary event, because those are kind of the big ones. Do they do stuff for like Halloween? Kind of, not really. I guess kind of. But it would be cool to combine all of the Christmas stuff into like one realm, so that you get like all of the, you know, 3 years of Christmas content in like one condensed space, and then maybe they add some extra stuff on top of that or something. I think that would be cool. I don't know. Random question, would you buy Horizon 6 on launch? Me? Not a question. Of course I would. I will say, chances are good I won't have to, because I do have a relationship with them, and, you know, I never like to make a promise. I never like to count on it, but chances are fairly good that they would gift me a key. But that said, as like a normal player, yeah, of course I would. I'm a huge Horizon guy. There's essentially nothing they could do to where I wouldn't buy it. Now, you know, we'll see. But yeah, we'll see. I think and this is getting into a whole nother conversation. I'll put that in the back of my mind. Yeah, I'd love to play some GT7 as a PC guy. Dude, same. GT7 on PC would be so big to me. And I have a PS5. I just don't like it. I just don't like playing on console. I'd rather be on PC. I wish they'd include all the special world areas in the map. I want the Synthwave Highway back. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking they might do. Is like maybe they'll mix and merge together multiple living world things so that, because, you know, here's the thing. We have 40 updates, 43. We have 43 updates that have happened across 3-ish years, right? They're obviously not going to do like every single one individually, because then it would take like another 3 years for PlayStation players to go through it all. So I think they're going to combine them. I think they're going to take, you know, I think they're going to combine all the Christmases into like one. I think they're going to take, you know, maybe, yeah, they'll maybe take the coffee shop and the Synthwave Highway and, you know, Lunar New Year and like slap that all into one. I think they're going to, hey, Craptastic Jack, good to see you. I saw that. You can't be sneaky. But yeah, I think it makes the most sense for me that they would, and it's more interesting from just a player perspective if they just kind of cram everything into one. I think that would be sick if we had like, I don't know, what were the, I'm trying to think of like what the good ones were. The coffee shop was kind of cool. The Synthwave Highway was cool. I do like the Christmas stuff. The Christmas stuff in Mulahay I think was cool. You know, there are some interesting stadiums that they've done. They've decorated Guanajuato in a couple of different ways. So yeah, I don't know. They've done some cool stuff, and I just think Cinco de Mayo. Didn't they just like put banners up in Guanajuato? It was kind of you know, and they do the same thing with Lunar New Year, I think, where it's just like, oh, and like drone shows. They've had some really cool drone shows on the map. They started that in the DLC and then kind of brought it back. Yeah, so I think to me, it just makes so much sense to like merge a bunch of them into one so that the PlayStation players can like experience this condensed history of Horizon 5. And then it's just more interesting because like going into a realm just to see the coffee shop, that who really cares, you know? Like that's not that big of a deal. But if it's like 5 or 6 different evolving world updates in a single map, then it's like, oh, this is actually kind of crazy. And then that brings up the question of like, will these be separate multiplayer servers? Like if we wanted to, us like long timers, could we all just go into a realm and just like play the game inside of a realm? Or is it going to be single player only? Which I kind of doubt. Oh, it totally did, Ami. It totally did. And I'm a little bit concerned that they're gonna drop it for Horizon 6. They could go the opposite way. They totally could go the opposite way and ramp it up, and I hope that's what they do. But I fear that they're gonna be like, it didn't really work out as well as we wanted to. Maybe we're gonna scratch that and focus on something else. We'll see. We'll see. Dude, Brainbow, if they did, that is the best case scenario for what Realms is. If Realms is a private adventure open world lobby that combines a bunch of different living world things into a single map that you can just like gather a convoy of 12 and jump in and have your own like, yeah, private server. That is 100% the best way they do that. Because that adds so much value to longtime players who have been missing that from Horizon 3, and Horizon 4 had that too, right? Or no? Oh, well, you could do like, yeah. Horizon 4 had its own thing. Yeah, or you could select your own, evolve it. How cool would it be if you could like mix and match? Now, some of them I'm sure overlap. But it would be so sick, and this is total pie in the sky thinking. There's no way this is real, but it'd be so sick if you could get a list of like, hey, here's everything that we've added for the evolving world. Just check mark all the ones you want. And you can just be like, yep, I want this, like the big dragon drone show, but I want the oval, I want the coffee shop, I want Guanajuato to be decorated like this, and I want Mulahey to be decorated like this. And then you can just like set up your own realm, and then that can just be like your private server. God, that would be so sick. And if they had, some sort of system to be like, well, these two things overlap, you can't have both of them. That'd be cool. There's no way that's happening. But I could see this being an answer to players wanting private lobbies. I could see that being the case. I still think that's a bit of a stretch, because I just think I don't know. I've learned to temper my expectations when it comes to Horizon 5. Is the cool idea that I have in my head very rarely actually happens. And, there's a million reasons for that, and I don't really fault them for too many of them, but yeah. Howie Wowie, that's the reality of it. Yep. You could have different selections for each area. Yeah. Like a pick one, from the stadium. For example, the stadium could have the Stump Park, the Maze, Lunar New Year, the Winter Wonderland. Yeah. No, I would love that. Again, I highly doubt it's happening. I would love that. Water break. Oh. So good. But yeah, I don't know. Realms. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, I mean, I think. I don't think it's going to be single player. Which means I've got to think that we should all be able to jump into it. What I think realistically it's going to be is just another server where you still can't, you can convoy up like normal, but it'll still be like a mega server. With the phasing in and phasing out stuff. That's more realistically what I think it's going to be. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I think it would be so cool to kind of end Horizon 5 on that note of having private servers. And on top of that, someone was bringing this up earlier, I do think this means we are not getting Horizon 6 this year. My take for this all is, now, I've kind of flip-flopped on this. Originally, I was like, yeah, there's no way we're getting Horizon 6 in 2025. And my logic for that was like, Horizon 5 has been going stronger than any other Horizon game in history for a really long time. It's still on Game Pass, and they have Fable coming out. That studio is making Fable, and I think that's supposed to be out this year. So my thought was 2026. And then they started slowing down Horizon 5. Horizon 5 started really slowing down. And we started to get some hints. We know, and this is fully public information, we know that they have been scanning cars for the next Horizon game. Now, they did not directly say the next Horizon game, but they indirectly said it. They said, it's unlikely these are going to make it into motorsport, but they will be in the next, Forza project or something along those lines, which is basically just a roundabout way of saying, yeah, we're scanning these for Horizon 6. And so I started to be like, oh, shoot, they're really winding Horizon 5 down, and we know they're working on Horizon 6. And so I kind of pivoted, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we are going to get Horizon 5 in Horizon 6 in 2025. But then, boom, all of a sudden, here we get Horizon 5 on PS5. And now I think there's no way we get Horizon 6 this year. I think this is their way to continue to draw it out. They get a big defib. They just shock the player base and give them a big new jolt of life, and then that just carries it until next year. Forza Street 2, you never know. Yeah, Yeah, Bisque. That's how they've done it with every single Horizon. Every single Horizon game, and I think every single Motorsport, except with very limited exception. Every single Forza game is announced the summer before it's released. They're announced E3 time in the summer with no prior word, and then they come out, a few months later in like October or November or September. That is how every single Horizon game has been announced. But the tides are shifting. Motorsport did not go that way. We've talked about this on the stream. Motorsport was announced 3 years before it came out. 3 years before it came out. And was not announced at E3. It was announced in like a random dev live stream in, I think, December of 2019. So yeah, I just think that's what it is. I think you can't take that history and apply it to the future anymore, because the whole industry is just so different surrounding that stuff these days. But yeah, I didn't expect it this year yet anyway. Yeah, again, like I said, I kind of flip-flopped on it. At first I was like, no, there's no way. And then I was like, oh yeah, maybe. So we'll see. I think it's most likely. Here's what I take. I think this is, and I'm not confident about this, but I think the most likely option is that we get an announcement for Horizon 6 this summer. And then it comes out next year, 2026. I think that's how they're going to do it. I think they're going to break form, and I think this summer they're going to capitalize on the hype from PS5, and then also capitalize on the fact that the rest of us are kind of just like ready for the next thing, and they're going to announce it, and then they're going to stagger info, and then we'll get it 2026. That's what I think is the most likely. Do you have a good Horizon 5 race and drift tune for me? I don't know. Give me more info. What are you looking for, I guess? What are you looking for in a race? What are you looking for in a drift car? What's your end goal? Are you just looking for something that's fun to drift, low power, high power? You looking to get high scores on drift zones? Yeah, what are you looking for in a race? Do you want a competitively focused race? Do you want to be able to race against AI? Do you want like a good just like interesting race? Good handling and fast gripping out of the corner. I'm sorry. A race and drift tune. Got it. Well, then in that case, what class are you looking for? Because that you know what? Here, let me give you the blanket answer. Because this would be my answer for probably anything. Go to my Discord. Go to Forza Guides right here. And then scroll down to where is it? I thought we had them here. Rim database, color sheet, hard to find cars. I guess if you want a GT car, no, that's for Motorsport though. I thought we had meta lists on this. Do we not have meta? We have Seinu's seasonals. Community tunes list. Oh, this is no. This is the overall one. Yeah, so this one. Go to this one. Horizon 4 and Horizon 5 community tunes list compilation by Mars Zombie. Click on that. And then here you go. You have everybody's tunes. So you have Seasons, Ramen, Hauser, Johnson Racing, Seinu's, Seppi's, Carver's. You just click any one of these and you find whatever you want. Because these are going to give you all the info you need. So that's what I would say. Horizon's just such a big game. So there's no... If you ask someone for like a drift tune, there's just a million different ways to go about that. So it's a tough question to answer. And same with a race tune. Race tune for what race, for what class. Like there's... So the spreadsheet is your answer. That's what I can give you. But yeah, I haven't looked much into Horizon games, but I think the interaction with the environment is so basic that no matter where they set the next game at, unless they add some new features, it doesn't matter other than initial impressions. I agree with that. Like if people want Japan, be sure to add some neat things you can do that would interact with the world. The train in 4 was a great idea, even though silly speed-wise. Yeah, I think, and this is going to get a little bit weird, but one of my favorite things about World of Warcraft, let's talk about World of Warcraft's fast travel system compared to other MMOs. If you look at World of Warcraft, the way you interact with that world is so real and so ground level. If you need to go somewhere, you walk up to a guy and you like rent a bird, and that bird physically flies to the other location until you're high enough level, and then you can do it on your own with a mount. If you need to travel from one continent to the other, you have to like go to a station, a train station or a big airship station, and you actually like wait for the airship to come in. You walk onto the airship and the airship takes off, and then it goes to another continent, and then it lands at that air station on the other continent. And then, yeah, or you can ask a mage bro for a portal. I mean, that's also an option. Or in, Dalaran. Well, all the cities have portals these days. But anyway, I adore that because it connects you so strongly to the world as a real functioning place. Now go to like Guild Wars 2. In Guild Wars 2, if you want to fast travel, you open the map and you click where you want to go. What is it? Not lodestones, not hearthstones. I can't remember what they call those things. It's been a little bit since I've played Guild Wars 2. But yeah, they just have fast travel points littered all over the map. And they have kind of scaled back on it because they added mounts and they want you to use mounts now. But there's no real travel. You just open a menu, you open a map, and you click where you want to go. And that makes the world feel so much smaller and less real. Because why would you ever, if you see a traveling caravan traveling around in Guild Wars, you're like, why would you do that? Just use the fast travels. Waypoints, thank you. Yeah, why? It makes no sense to do physical travel in Guild Wars 2 because the waypoints exist. But in World of Warcraft, if you see like a traveling caravan, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because that's how I would have to do that as a character in this world. And I think a lot of that can also apply to Horizon, where they should evolve how you interact with the world as a car person. And I think like Motortown is kind of a good example of that. Like in Motortown, and I talked about this in my video, in Motortown, if you want a drone, you drive to a drone store, you get out of your car, you go into the drone store, you shop for drones, and then you buy one, and it's a thing in your inventory that you physically take out, and then you launch into the air, and then it actually flies around, and then you actually have to land it, and then put it away in your inventory. In Horizon 5, you open a menu, you tab over, and you click the button, and then it just gives you a free cam. And it does have sound to it, but that's kind of it. Nobody else can see your drone because it's not a real object. It's literally just a restricted free cam, and it's very restricted. For the record, it's a drone that can't go higher than like 20 feet off the ground, which is so dumb. But anyway, you do have to explore the map to unlock the waypoints first in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, but again, yeah, once you've done that, it's you just teleport everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's silly. Yeah, and it wobbles. Yes, it does wobble. You see, all humans in Horizon have a special cavity in their rear that allows them to pull a drone out at any moment. That's what it is. That's the lore. That's the Horizon lore. Yeah. But no, and it's not like I need hyper real stuff like that. But yeah, I do think more, I don't know, Horizons, and I've said this a lot, and I think it's such a point I want to drive home about Horizon is it's a theme park. Motortown is a living, breathing world. Horizon is a theme park of what a living, breathing world would look like. Like when you go to Disneyland, and look at like, their fun little, maybe this is a bad example, but like, you know, there's no infrastructure in Horizon. It just doesn't exist. There's no grocery store. Well, I think there are like little markets, but there's no, you know, there's no parking like anywhere. there's no gas stations. We've talked about that plenty. A lot of the roads make no sense, which is something I'm perfectly okay with to a large degree. And yeah, you just like don't have to interact with the world in the way you would actually interact with the world as a car guy. Yeah, the traffic doesn't really make sense realistically. There's no vape shops. Yeah, what the heck? So I really hope they do put some focus into having a map that feels more alive. Horizon 3, for the record, I think is a good example of that. Horizon 3's Surfer's Paradise and Horizon 4. Horizon 4 had a train and had a tram going around Edinburgh. And that alone is big. Horizon 3 had an elevated tram going through Surfer's Paradise and had NPCs that walked around. And they stopped doing that. It sucks. Yeah. Horizon 3 had NPCs that actually walked around. Also, I found this out. I have been parroting this point for a very long time. But Horizon 4 also, I think, had NPCs that walked. They were in the festival site. And that was the difference. No NPCs walked around like Edinburgh. But in the festival site, I think if you go to the drag strip, they do have NPCs walking back and forth in the festival site. So, important correction. I need to verify that myself, but somebody made a comment about it. They also had normal trams as well. Wait, what are you talking about, Dragon? Also, hold on. That's me, Yami. What if Horizon 6 would be Tokyo? Well, it wouldn't, in theory, be just Tokyo. It would be Japan. Because they've always done a country. Well, I guess in Horizon 1 they did a state. Horizon 1 was Colorado. Horizon 2 was France and Italy. Horizon 3 was Australia. 4 was the UK. 5 was Mexico. So it wouldn't just be Tokyo. And it's also pretty unlikely that Tokyo would be the main city because it's too big. They've never picked like a capital as their main city because it's unrealistic to. Tokyo's massive. And if it were just a Tokyo map, it would be a terrible map because Tokyo, I can tell you from personal experience, Tokyo sucks to drive through. The highway network, sure, very famous, very great. But like just normal city streets driving through Tokyo kind of sucks. It's just stressful and tight. And there's lots of traffic. It would not be fun as a video game. But yeah. Mount Fuji and Hakone, yeah. But see, that's where it gets weird, is like what... I was actually just thinking about this. I was literally just thinking about this because I was watching a podcast where they were talking about the new Assassin's Creed game. And I think it is just such a beautiful example of exactly why I don't think Horizon 6 should be in Japan. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is exactly why we will never get Horizon 6 in Japan. Because if you look at the drama, the absolute chaos surrounding AC Shadows, I think every other studio is looking at that and going, you know what? It's not worth it. Because let me tell you, the internet gets so weird about Japan. And I don't know why. I really don't. But the internet just loses their minds when it comes to Japan. In ways that just make no sense compared to any other country. The weeb army is too big. And the amount, like... I'm not saying there's no valid criticism to be levied against AC Shadows. I'm not going to get that far into it. But what I will say in brief is the amount of overwhelmingly pointless drama surrounding the location of the new AC game is exactly why I always say Horizon in Japan wouldn't make sense because they can never make everyone happy. That is, I have said that for years. I have said Horizon in Japan wouldn't make sense because it's just going to piss people off because there's no way they can do it in a way that's going to make everyone happy. And I think we are exactly seeing that with AC Shadows because everyone has always wanted an Assassin's Creed game in Japan. That has for years been like the big thing is, oh man, it'd be so cool to get an AC game in Japan. Oh man, I hope the next one's Japan. Oh, I hope the next one's Japan. Now they're doing one in Japan and everyone fucking hates it. And the game's not even out yet. It's that's why I just don't think Horizon would do it. I don't know. And I also don't think it matters too much. I would like to see an Asian theme. Like for me, I would personally, not speaking as a content creator, not speaking about the reaction on the internet, if I could play the next Horizon game in a vacuum, I would want it to be like South Korea. Or, maybe China would be cool too. Or some other, heck, India would be cool. Some other Asian country. Because I do like, we are missing that. We've had the US. We've had Europe. We've had, Mexico, Australia. So we've had a lot of different, global themes. But we've never really had anything Asian of any variety. So I think that would just be a cool setting. My problem is I think if they do an Asian game that's not Japan, that will also just infinitely piss people off. Because that means we'll never get Japan. If you do South Korea, if Horizon 6 is South Korea, that means we're not getting Japan. At least not for another 4 or 5 games. So I want it, but I think they're kind of screwed if they do and screwed if they don't. If they do Japan, it's just going to be endless drama about what they did and didn't have in the game. If they do something Asian that's not Japan, it's going to be endless drama that it wasn't Japan and, oh, they're idiots for teasing us and, oh, they know we want Japan, so why didn't they give it to us? So I feel like they just can't do an Asia map, which sucks because I think that's the internet's fault. But I feel like they can't. I feel like no matter they can, they just have to accept that it's going to be chaos online. I think that's it. Look at Japanese Driftmaster. No. Games have existed in Japan. Let's be clear about this. TXR, I think, is a much better example, actually, because TXR is essentially a one-to-one Japan recreation of a specific area. And people love TXR. TXR is blowing up all over the internet, and everybody loves it. But Horizon is different. TXR is a pretty niche game from a Japanese studio that has a very positive public image. Everybody loves Genki. Everybody loves the underdog. They're a Japanese studio. So no one questions them when they make a Japanese game. Not to mention the fact that it's literally the same map that they've used for 20 years, 30 years. So it's not like anything's new. The Playground team is not Japanese, and everyone on the internet hates them. So instantly, you're just going to get people that are just going to clamber onto that and just get mad about it. It's the same thing with JDM, Japanese Drift Master. It's just a small indie team, and so there's a different public perception on it. Games have been in Japan and people don't have drama about it. It's just when a really big game goes to Japan and people start to get a whiff that, oh, they're not treating it the way it should be treated or whatever, that's when it becomes a problem. And I do think that would be a problem for Horizon. So yeah, that's my take with that. And then there's Endless. Oh, hold on. Get our music back. There we go. And then there's endless drama about people speculating whether or not the game will come to Japan or not. Wait, with what game? What are you talking about? Honestly, seeing how they did Mexico, I don't think they will have a problem with Japan if they respect their culture. I do. I mean, that's totally fine. If you don't think that, I fully do think that. I just think there's no way. I think there's no way. There's not a chance in hell to me that Horizon 6 comes out, and let's say it's Japan, and there is not an internet discourse about what they did or didn't have in the game. Oh, they didn't put I can't believe Tokyo's not in the game. I can't believe Osaka's not in the game. I can't believe whatever's not in the game. There's just no way to me that doesn't happen. There you go, John. But again, Japanese studio that's been doing it for a very, very long time. So I think it's different. And to be clear, I don't think any of this is Playground's fault. I do think Playground does do a good job of like portraying the local area. I'm not saying Playground couldn't do it well. I'm saying the expectations of the internet are overwhelmingly unrealistic. That's what I'm saying. But yeah. Besides the whole Japan thing, there's a pattern with Horizon games. Horizon 1 was America. Horizon 2 was Europe. Horizon 3 was Australia. Horizon 4 was Europe. Horizon 5 was Southern North America. Sure. Central America. Southern North... Well, yeah. Or rather, Middle America, and according to that knowledge, Horizon 6 has to be European again. In a way, you're right. In a way, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, John says, I think it's smart to stay away and just showcase places people don't really think about instead. Yeah. Dubai, everyone always talks about Dubai. I don't get Dubai. And the only reason, I think Dubai as the city would be cool, but I think it would just be such a boring map. Because what is there in Dubai except for literal desert? Literally all that exists in Dubai is just a desert and a city, right? I just feel like that would be, it's just sand. Like, I just think, you couldn't have like, a jungle or a forest or mountains. And I just think that would be such a boring map. Like, if you think Horizon 5's map was boring, Dubai's map would be the most boring map in existence. Like, I think there's no way. I do think that you can take almost anywhere in the world and you could make a good Horizon map out of it. I don't think Dubai is one of those places. Now, I've never been there, but from everything I've seen of Dubai, it's literally just desert. It's a city and then desert. So what... I can't understand how that would make a good map. Yeah, I don't get Dubai either, but it's popular. No, it totally is. That is top 3, top 5 locations I hear when talking about the next game. It's Japan, Germany. I hear like Sweden a lot, Dubai, and like Brazil. I feel like I hear a lot of people talk like Brazil or South America. Yeah. I mean, like, what, we haven't hit South America at all as a continent. Yeah. So what are the 2 continents left? Oh, no, because they've never done Africa. So they've never done Africa, South America. Switzerland would be cool. Yeah. Egypt. I think Egypt would be sick. I think Egypt would be very cool. A lot of people say Germany. I don't think Germany would be that. I think it would be fine, but I feel like we've already had a lot of locations close to that where Germany just wouldn't make a lot of sense. Like Horizon 2 having France and Italy, and then Horizon 4 being the UK. I feel like that just kind of covers things that are too close to Germany in broad global strokes, you know? So I as much as I think it would be fine, I think I'd like something different. And AC Evo's already doing Germany in a sense. So, you know, they should make one in the past. I would love that. We've talked about that in the past, about how it would be really, really cool to have like a period Horizon game where, yeah, it's like late 90s in Japan, early 2000s in California. I think that would be sick. I don't think that would happen, but I think it would be sick. I would like another franchise. I think that's like what Need for Speed should do, is do like period racing games. So yeah. What gamer software are you? Oh, this is Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, this is it's called Scapes mode in Gran Turismo 7. So I built that's kind of like a replica of my car, and you just let it sit in the garage, and then it just does the Scapes thing. It's very cool. Looks very, very nice. But yeah, I don't know. We talk about it all the time. I do think now is a more relevant time to talk about it, but I have reason to think that the next Horizon game could be an Asian-themed game. And here's I can give you one piece of reason for that. A lot of the cars they're rescanning are Japanese cars. I think they've confirmed they're rescanning 9 or 10 cars, and I think like 4 or 5 of them are Japanese cars. Like the S15 is confirmed to be getting a rescan. I think they said the 86. There's an old Ferrari that's getting a rescan. I think there's a Porsche that's getting a rescan, but those would kind of make sense for a Japanese game. So I don't know. Want to have the game take place in Argentina? I'm sure, you know. Sure. It is very pretty there. One of my old mods, he's not around anymore, but one of my old mods was Argentinian. Yeah, China, obviously China's gorgeous as a country. I think annoyingly, I think there is, you know, there is politics to consider with a location like that. Hopefully for a racing game, you can kind of ignore it, but again, kind of similar to the Japanese thing. I think it just welcomes too much drama. So yeah, Horizon 6 on the moon. Yeah, hell yeah. Low grav mode. Let's go. Yeah, Howie, no, that's kind of my thoughts. Yeah. Thailand. No, that's what I was kind of saying, but this is my take with it. I want them to do a non-Japanese Asian location. I brought up South Korea, but yeah, Thailand would also be sick. I just think that would piss everybody off. I think that would just make people livid. That they did an Asian location that was not Japan. So I think you know, who knows? Horizon 6 in Hoki's parking lot? Yeah, let's go. People drift in my parking lot all the time. I mean, come on. There's trees, there's hills, there's pavement, there's parking areas. There's even another parking area over there. So you'd have 2. It basically, you take Horizon 3's Surfer's Paradise parking lot, which, let's be honest, was the best part of that entire game anyway. That's where everyone spent all their time, was just doing tandems in that parking lot. Bada bing, bada boom, you got your next game. They can come laser scan it in like a day. Probably in like an hour. So we're done. And yeah, you could buy my house. My house would be the one property you can buy. Or maybe you can just go down the block. You get like my neighbor's house. My house is not the nicest house on the block. Maybe, I don't know. I think my neighbor over there is probably the nicest one. So maybe that's the endgame house. Yeah. Somewhere in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, somewhere they have some deep Japan import culture. Yeah, no, again, personally, I am all for it. Personally, I would love Southeast Asia, anywhere in Asia game. Again, because I think India would be really cool, but car culture also, I don't know. It's not like they really leaned into the car culture of Mexico in Horizon 5, so I guess that doesn't super matter. But yeah, I don't know. They have like a lore reason for that. Greece, I do think would be cool, but again, Italy and France, I think kind of touches, and I know I won't offend you, but on a global scale, I think Italy and France kind of cover, like Horizon 2's map kind of covers broad strokes that same, landscape and architecture. Broad strokes. But it would be cool. Yeah, obviously lots of elevation. You've got the coast. Like, it'd be sick. It'd be sick. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bisque. All right, there you go. Sure. To a degree. To a degree. Horizon 6 Liberty City, sure. I do think, honestly, I think it would be cool if they did a completely fictional location. I think we've actually talked about this before. I think the one way they can escape the problem of doing an Asian location that either is Japan or isn't Japan is they say, screw it, we're not doing a real world location. We're doing just an amalgamation of Japanesey Asian themes, but it's our own made up map. I think that's how they get away with it. But I just don't think they'll do that. I think that's kind of core to what Horizon is. And even though I think it would be cool if they, did a completely made up map, I just don't think that would happen. Horizon 6 and Pandaria. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That would be funny. That would be funny. I just want a good map. So do we all, man. I do think no matter where it is, they know that Horizon 5's map was bad. And I think they will make it better. I think no matter what, Horizon 6 map is going to be more dense. Hoshido XL. Dude, I'd be all for it. Yeah, just make it Hoshido. Just make it Hoshido. Call me. Playground. I'll help. Craptastic, fully agree. I have very minor leanings towards one place or the other place, but with so many locations, it's not about the location. It's about how they do the map in that location. Mexico, Horizon 5's Mexico wasn't bad because it's Mexico. It was bad because they just didn't put enough stuff in the map. And it's just a ton of field. They could have made, it's the location isn't the problem or the solution. It's all the map itself. I do think the location can help or hurt. Like with Dubai, I think there's really no way they could make a good Dubai map. Unless they like really fictionalized it. But yeah, I think you could take Wisconsin and make a good map of Wisconsin. Like you could do it. You could do it. Eliminator's fault. Okay. Everybody says that. We're getting into tinfoil hat territory a little bit. So everybody says Horizon 5's map was bad because they designed it around Eliminator, which I think is a Mike Brown quote, or it's a quote from somebody on the team. They said, oh yeah, when we were designing Horizon 5's map, we designed it around the Eliminator game mode. Here's my take. I don't think that's true. I think that's an excuse. I think they made up that reasoning because it was too hard to have a dense map on an Xbox One. That's my take. I think they wanted to make the map more dense, but they couldn't because Xbox Ones couldn't run it. And so they made up the excuse that, oh yeah, we just made it big and wide and open because that's Eliminator. That's my take. Not that that matters for anything at all, but I hear that all the time. And I don't think it's wrong to think that because that's literally a quote from a dev. So like, it's fair to think that. I just think that I think it's a cover up. I think it's an excuse. I don't think they actually did design the map around Eliminator. I'm sure it was a consideration. I'm sure it was a thought in their mind, but I don't think they like made the map big and empty and boring just because Eliminator was a feature of the game. I think they just made that up as a reason to not say the real reason. Yeah, yeah. Mike Brown doesn't work for them anymore. Mike Brown's replacement, who is it? Who's running the studio now? Torben? He's going to come knocking on my door. He's going to take me out live on stream. No, nobody does Eliminator. That's what's so funny. No one does Horizon Arcade. No one does Eliminator. No one does, what is it? The playlist, the like versus AI stuff. There's so much stuff that people just don't interact with in Horizon 5. No, not hide and seek. No. The tour. Yeah, Crown has it. The tour. No one does Horizon Tour. Now, I don't think there's any way Horizon Tour exists in Horizon 6. Or, well, maybe they'll completely revamp it or something. Who knows? But yeah, Bramo says, imagine they had a map where you go, or where you had a mountain in the middle, and the only way to get to the other side of the map is to go through a toge. I think that'd be so sick. That's what I wanted them to do with the DLC, with Rally Adventure. It would have been so, Rally Adventure would have been so good if they opened up a tunnel in the north side of the map, the base game map, and you would go through the tunnel and then like pop out on the other side of the map. And it's just a disguised loading screen. It's just a disguised load. You don't need to load. You load none of the map until you come into that tunnel. You go into that tunnel. You know, your field of view is completely restricted. You can't see the end because they got some turns. You go into that tunnel. It loads the other map. Bada bang, bada boom. You can drive between the two. That is a trick. Who knows if it works in what's their engine, Forza Tech? Who knows if that works in Forza Tech? But other games have done that for years. I mean, like the Mass Effect elevators are like a big iconic thing for that. It's a huge AAA thing to, like do the little shimmy. I don't know if most of you guys probably know this, but in case you don't, anytime you see in like a recent AAA game, a character like be in a big area and then have to like go through a little wall and do a little shimmy against a little wall. The only reason that exists is because they have to load the next area. That's the only that's not a gameplay feature. That's a loading screen. But they can do that with cars. Now, again, I don't know if Forza Tech necessarily supports that, but in theory, it's an in-house engine, so they could make it support that. I don't know. I'm not a game dev. But that's what I think they should have done, is attach, the Hot Wheels map makes sense. You know what bums me about the Hot Wheels map? Is that it doesn't actually exist in the sky. They could have just edited the skybox to like put a Hot Wheels map up there. That would have been so cool. Or like, when you do, half you guys probably forgot this, but when you go to Hot Wheels Island for the first time, they pretend that they are launching you up there. They have like a big Hot Wheels like launch pad thing and it goes, launches you up into the sky. It'd be so sick if that was real. Like there actually was like a big Hot Wheels ramp. And then you'd like just drive over to it and you'd launch and it would actually physically launch your car up. And then it could like just play a little quick cutscene or something. And then bada bing, bada boom, you land on the map. I don't know. This goes back to like the World of Warcraft fast travel conversation of it makes the world feel fake when you have to interact with menus to get to different places of it. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly, guy with a burrito. Yeah, they did the 2D Mexico map below, but it's, why not do it the other way around? I don't know. Don't even worry about the shadows theft. It doesn't need to cast any shadows. No one would notice. It's fine. I don't know. Yeah, burrito. I know. Revelations here. But yeah, like actual map expansions, they need to start doing that, man. Yeah, there you go. Misal's up in chat. Burnout Paradise did that with the bridge. Exactly. I think that's a key example of a game from 15 years ago now having that feature. And it's a little bit, I never love to do that because, again, the engine matters, the rest of the game matters, all sorts of stuff around that. But